Welcome to another edition of Tableau Request Live with Joe Mako and Matt Lutton.
Hello.
So today we're going to do two questions. One of them is here from the forum of this issue of they were trying to exclude some data and it didn't behave the way they expected. They got an unexpected result. We're going to take a look at this situation that Jonathan answered. And then also the other one is we're going to take a look at top n plus other. This is a common situation we've seen people ask for. And we just want to run through a simple solution for it. So let's dive into this one real quick. So,
yes, I love this.
And it's deceptively simple, or it seems like, why is Tableau doing this? So we've downloaded the workbook that they gave us, and what he's experiencing is he selects some marks, and he clicks on exclude right here. And that behaves as expected. Those marks are now gone. But then when he goes to switch this, now those marks come back. And what's happening here is a mismatch of expectations. That when we use an exclude inside a Tableau from the tooltip, what we're telling Tableau to do is take all the dimensions and use those combination of dimensions to create a filter. So when I hit exclude here, it's using both the bubble color and, if we hover over, we can see that little pop-up, bubble color and name. Where in reality, what he just wanted to use was just a name. So This comes back to that awareness of our pill types, that because both of these are dimensions, they will both be used in that exclude. If I just want name to be used in the exclude, then we turn this one into a measure, such as an attribute. And now when we select them and click on exclude, now we see that our filter is just generated from the single dimension pill of name. And when we change between these bubble colored things, then those marks stay gone because the filter is based on name. And so that's,
Joe, why don't you show changing the color display with the measure turned into a dimension again? Because I don't think we changed the color display back just to demonstrate what the issue was.
Yeah.
And you're excluding those marks. So it's actually creating a set based on those combinations, right?
A kind of set. It's
kind
more,
of set.
Yeah, I guess you could call it a set. Maybe
I mean, like when you filter on an action filter, you see the same kind of thing.
So it is creating a set for us.
Right.
That it's creating a set based on this combined field of bubble color and name. That if we were to come into here, let's say unhide, and let's see if we can edit this set. No, it doesn't give us.
It does not look like it.
Because it's a generated exclusion. So because it was generated in that way, it doesn't let us get at it.
So change the bubble color at this point again, so they can see the marks increase.
They come back.
Right.
So the number of marks is 39 because name is setting our real granularity. Even though bubble is also a dimension pill, it doesn't increase our granularity because it's an additional detail. That there is that name is really
the name is at
identified.
A finer level, yeah.
And that bubble color is just some additional information. And so because we don't want to use it as a dimension pill, we don't want it to impact our filter, it's not really generating more marks, it's not a finer detail, that we can make it an attribute, and now that makes it simpler for Tableau that we can select those, exclude them, and Tableau knows that what's generating that individual mark is only name, and so it excludes on just name. Okay?
Yep, I like it.
All right. And so the next problem, and the next question is, how do we do a top n plus other? For example, if we had product name and sales out here, and we sorted as descending, and we just want to have the top n, and then all these other ones, all the other 1,253 are rolled up into a single one. So a way to handle this is with a set. And we can do a top set. When we right-click on our dimension of interest here, product name, we have this option to create a set. And this set is now based on the field product name. We could turn this general to be use all, so it's no longer impacting it. Go over here to a top, say by field on top. We'll create a new parameter for us. We'll say our top n, and we'll turn off the range of values, leave it to be all. And OK. Again, by sum of sales is good. So we click OK.
Change the
Oh,
name.
yep. Let's give it a name. So edit set, and we'll call this in
So why?
top n.
Can you tell me again why you're creating the set here, Joe, and kind of the significance of that for you?
Yeah, the advantage of creating a set is that this is going to happen sooner. This set, because it's a top set or even conditional sets, they will happen as a subquery in the query to the data source. And so what this means is it's happening sooner, that this is happening very soon inside of Tableau, or it's happening inside the query to the data source before row-level calculations are evaluated. If we talk about that simple order of operations of row-level aggregation table calculations, sets are going to be evaluated before row-level calculations inside the query to the data source as a subquery, which is really useful in this case because we want to have this happen sooner. If we pull it out here, we can see that we've got this kind of binary in and out, that it's a Boolean essentially. So when I create a calculated field, I'll call this items, because we're going to rename this items, we can say if we are in the top n, and so this if statement here is taking a binary statement, then we return that individual product name, else we're going to return others, and end. And so what's going to happen here is that if they meet this condition that was evaluated in that subquery, then we're going to pull back that product name. Otherwise, we're going to replace it with others and have that be our granularity. So, cancel, bring this out instead, and now we've got others mixed in here. And this items is an actual dimension field, which is really useful for us.
Yes.
So now to get this in a good sort, we can create ourselves a rank. And rank, instead of just simply referencing sum of sales, because if we did that, this item of others would be ranked 1. We want to ignore these others. We can use that same logic again. We can put the if statement inside the sum, so the if statement is happening at the record level, again after this has been evaluated. Then we bring back our sales, otherwise nothing, and so the rank is going to be happening on the nulls, because when we do if we do an if statement without an else, it's assumed that we're doing a null inside of there. So now this rank is going to get a null for when we're dealing with our other items.
Right.
And so when we pull this out as a discrete, up here under the row shelf, now we get our others with a null rank, and the others are 1 through 10. So if we wanted to turn this others rank into 11, or so that it can be dynamic based off of this parameter control, if I turn this into 15, we would want the others to become 16 or whatnot. We go in and we can wrap this in a if null function. So an if null function, keep it together, get our little tooltip here that tells us what it is. Then it's a shortcut to say if the first argument is null, then return the value of the second argument. So in this case, our first argument is going to be this rank calculation, and our second argument will be our parameter plus 1. And that will give us either that ranking value or 11. So okay there. And now we've got others down here at the bottom with 11, and this is fully dynamic. I make it 20. Now the others gets 21 as its rank. Now, what's really nice? Yep, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, if you pull the rank pill off there and just try to sort items in ascending order. Oh, it's already in ascending.
Well, it's on alphabetical order right now.
Oh, okay, I got you. So you do it.
It puts others at the top.
So what if you do ascend? So if you just wanted the top 10 with others at the bottom but didn't want the numbers, could you just change that to ascending on sum of sales? and just it would sort so that you would have others at the bottom there. So
that's one way to deal with it. Another option.
Right. I was just wondering about that. Okay.
But you see what this does here is now it's got this item number 10 there at the top. We want item number 1 at the top. We want the global Troy.
Ah, yes. Okay, that's
so
right.
So I guess
now
another way to handle this is we could put our set up here and then say sort descending based on sum of cells. And there we go.
Yes.
We could then hide this to not show the header.
Oh,
and now
great.
we've got a nice display there. We even have this dividing line of the pane divider there. So that's another way to handle it.
Okay, I'm glad I brought that up. That's nice.
We could even still bring out rank there as well.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay.
And maybe hide or adjust this. We could say format. Where's my format? Borders, and take this level up 1 and get something nice that looks like that. That's another option.
Right. Cool.
We could also, there's lots of options here on how we could handle this. But this is a simple way of dealing it with a set instead of a table calculation upon a table calculation. Because we could use a table calculation to figure out what is our top end. But then when we do our rank or want to do our sort, it would have to be a table calculation on a table calculation. And when we deal with nested table calcs, it gets more complex quickly. Versus by having this set, now we can use really simple things. Like I could say a quick table calc, percent of total, and bring out sales again, and I get my number there, I get my percent of total, I can turn on the grand totals, so like a column grand total, and everything is really simple because we're only one level deep of table calculations instead of multiple levels.
Yep. And just to be clear, right now we only have one dimension in the view, right?
Yes.
And that's
one
the
dimension.
items.
That items is a dimension code, and we can see it. It's being used as the compute using here. This is also a dimension pill, this in and out. But it's not really impacting it in a way that we would expect because it's table down right now. That both this and this are on the row shelf, so they're both being used as the compute using. This is a relative compute using, so the effective compute using is the combination of these two together. If I were to say just compute using on items right now, what would happen is we are going to essentially be partitioning by that. Click into here and say advanced use items, okay, and apply. It's partitioning on it, but we see that the number's not changing because we set it up in that way that the other is always going to be 11.
Right.
Versus if I were to do something like an index in here, index, and pull this out as a discrete as well, and then set up this index to say compute using on items. Now we can see it's restarting, it's partitioning based on this.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's very useful.
So by using the set on the row level, it makes Tableau a little bit simpler to use instead of a bunch of nested table calcs.
Right, and you could add more table calcs to that view and not have to do any kind of nesting.
Yep, because we've got this as a dimension. We could also test on this if it's in the top end or not to affect how do we handle it. So we could do all sorts of different computations. That this gives us a way to identify this is the others and this is the normal individual items.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think this is good stuff. I really like both those examples.
So this was a quick little Tableau Request Live today. And again, if anybody has any questions or wants any form threads to be highlighted here, send them along to us, and we are happy to cover them.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, Joe, for taking the time to help me learn and keep learning. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right.